All right, video for the Gen Pop. We got we let's take a look at some of these PFF grades. Now, this is not great scouting, but it's good to know what these numbers are. They do tell us some things. They're not great. Generally, you can't use them as a Bible. Okay, there's some things, but they do tell you some things. So let's just review them, and also people refer to them. So, as a Jet fan, you should be familiar with some of these things. As we take a look, sometimes we give these only to the channel members. So please consider joining the channel as a member today for a small amount of money. You get your money's worth. This subscription for me costs $10 a month. So, if you're interested in these numbers, a membership in Frankie channel, FSPN is well worth it. Now, here's the offense. Mason Taylor, number one on the list, and that's good. So our young tight end, you noticed he had a good game, statistically, and he graded out well, including the blocking. So this is good to see. And again, we're a terrible team, so we're looking for silver linings. Mason Taylor is one such silver lining. And what I like about Mason Taylor's game, it seems like he has the hands. He's like a Sam Laporta type. You get him the ball, he catches it. So, that's very valuable. Uh, So that's another weapon we seem to be having developed. Now we have three basically between Garrett and Brees and Mason. All right. Now Justin Fields graded out well in this game. Now all of Justin Fields' stats and things have to be put into the context of massive garbage time. So a lot of what Justin did well was in garbage time. Let's just be honest. And that's where grades and stats can lie to you. If you look at Justin Fields' stats for the year, they look pretty good, actually. But if you've watched the games, it's still not there for him. Now, he's doing some things well, and that's good. And he's definitely got talent, and he's definitely going to be in the league a long time. Let's put it that way. He's an NFL quarterback. But from what I'm seeing, it's not high level quarterback play just yet. Now, here's Jeremy Ruckert. And it's good that maybe Ruckert can stick around, but you look at his pass blocking grade, no good. And we had problems blocking this game for some reason. Garrett Wilson is Garrett Wilson. Isaiah Davis played well. Now, Max Mitchell, interestingly, may be carving out a role for himself here in that he may be our, forget the guy's name, doesn't come to me, on Detroit that they use as a sixth lineman. The Skipper, Dan Skipper, right? Now, other teams do this too. The Bills do it with a guy named Anderson, I think, where you just have sort of a swing tackle, but he also has a role as a sixth lineman. He comes in as tackle eligible or another kind of tight end, if you think about it. And it's just for certain plays, a handful of plays. Now, he played more this game, 12 snaps, than he normally would because Fashanu went out for about 3 or 4 snaps. But Max Mitchell may be carving himself out a role, and that's also interesting to see Tanner Engstrand using that tackle eligible role, more frequently than just on the goal line, which is where teams would do that normally only. So interesting stuff there. Brees played well. Didn't get a good pass blocking grade, but that's up and down for the running backs, to be honest with you. Then Arian Smith played okay, but played a lot of snaps. Look at that, 45 snaps. He was only targeted once. He caught the one pass that he was targeted on. And I would like to see a bigger role for Arian Smith moving forward. We need to know if this kid is part of our future or not. We know Josh Reynolds probably isn't. We know Tyler Johnson probably isn't. So why not move Arian Smith to the Z position and let's see what he can do. Now, he already did play a lot of snaps here, didn't get a lot of targets because the ball was going to Mason Taylor, the ball was going to Garrett Wilson, the ball was going to Brees Hall. But let's try and get Arian a little more involved in the offense, I would say, to Tanner. Coach Tanner. Beck played well. Andrew Beck is Andrew Beck. He's our fullback. He does what he does well and caught a touchdown pass. So now here's the problem. Membu, Olu, Tipman, Myers, and Simpson all are at the bottom of this list. You can't have that and expect to win. Now, there needs to be more context to the story. They played poorly, I would say. But Fields also held the ball a long time at times too. So it was a combo. They were not great, and Fields was not great, despite the grades and statistics you're going to see. Now, Membu was our highest graded offensive lineman, other than Mitchell, and he had four penalties. Four. He had zero coming in all year, and he had four in one game here. Very disappointing, but even with that, still gets an average grade. So imagine now, a lot of times when you get a penalty, it's because you're beat, and you say, well, it's better to get a hold than have my quarterback killed. So not good. And then Olu continues to struggle. Got to figure out what's going on there. And then Tipman and Myers and Simpson all had bad games, according to the numbers. Now, their numbers are affected by the quarterback holding the ball too long. Also, it's a combo. A lot of people just want it to be one thing or the other. It's a combo. Life is a combo platter, man. So here's Justin Fields, for example, and his stats look good. 70% passing, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Look at the grades, looking sweet. One big time throw, no turnover worthy plays. ADAT a little low, but so what? And his TTT time to throw, 2.88, which is low for him. Now, it's still too high, and time to throw is also a weird statistic because scrambling quarterbacks are always going to have higher TTTs than others. Tom Brady was like the king of TTT because he's not going to scramble around. He's going to beat you with his mind. He knows where he's going with the ball, and boom, he hits it. And that's what you'd like, actually. That's efficient quarterbacking. But these guys who run around are going to have a high TTT. But this TTT is also lower than it would be, 2.88. On the season, he's averaging about 3 something, which is really high. But the reason this is so low is because, again, garbage time, he was getting rid of it quick because the pass rush was tired. They were doing soft coverages. They were just letting us have, check downs. And that's also why his completion percentage is so high. And so he was getting the ball out quicker than normal because he didn't have to scramble around in garbage time, and they were giving us short completions, which we were making. So that's good. But a lot of this is garbaggio time. And this also plays into some of these grades. Now, if you look at the blocking, it's not going to be a pretty picture there either. If you just look at the efficiency grades, here we are. Yeah. So Mitchell did a good job. Isaiah Davis, even Mason and Armand Membu, all these grades. Well, this isn't sorted. All these grades, except for Myers. Myers is okay. Everybody else is bad. 96 is bad. 98's good. 97 is sort of like average-ish, and then 96 and below is bad. 96.2 bad. Membu bad. Olu bad. Tipman terrible. So these dudes had a very bad game. But also, if you look at this, the pressure numbers are also predicated on how fast the quarterback gets the ball out. So if you looked at the film, which I've started to do, some of it is on them at times. There's times Olu's just getting beat, and there's just no way around it. Other times, Fields is holding the ball, and eventually the pass rush somebody comes around him, and then you got to assign a pressure number to somebody. And that's not really fair to the offensive lineman. But that's so all of these numbers need to be put into context. Now on defense, man, PFF, this website is not great. So on defense, Juwan Briggs was number one again. So Juwan Briggs continues to play very, very well. Great trade by Muji. Let's give credit where credit is due. Muji and Glenn did a terrible job in constructing this roster in general, as I told you since the summertime. And now you're seeing it in real time play out. But they did do a couple of good things. They acquired Juwan Briggs. Good move. Stevens seems to be playing pretty well, at least so far. So that's a good thing. McGregor got a high grade. Don't ask me how. Mark Robinson, Tufele, Adams had a good grade. Will McDonald. Now, Sauce Gardner wants to know. They said, what's going on with this defense? He said, I don't know. It's keeping me up at night. Well, here's the problem, Saucy. When you neglect a position like trying to put Tyler Barron in the game, like trying to have Michael Clemens in the game, all of these defensive ends who are bad, and you neglect the position and JJ's out, and you can't get a pass rush, then what happens is you have to blitz, which we are. We're blitzing a lot. Problem, the blitz is not getting home. So you have blitz rates, and then you compare your blitz rates to pressure rates, and we are not getting home with the pressures on the blitzes. What does that mean? That means there's less defenders out in the defensive backfield to guard the passing, and they're hitting those because we're not getting home with our blitzes. This is the reason this is happening is what I told you would happen in the summertime. And I don't mean to brag, but just trying to make a point that you do have a choice out there of the Jet content creators you have. I'm trying to make the case that maybe I can earn your vote, as the politicians say, as someone who's a trustworthy Jet content creator. You have a lot of choice out there. And I think I was one of the few telling you about the roster holes that we had. And now you're seeing it. So I'm trying to make the case that maybe I can earn your attention and earn a subscribe and earn a like on the video and earn a join the membership group. Because I told you with this level of terrible roster building, you're going to have to blitz more. Okay. Blitzing more is risky. Why? Because if you don't get home, then any good quarterback, and we faced some high level ones, Prescott, Mayfield, uh, even Rodgers, he's played better this year than he did last year. Though still not great, but they're going to pick you apart. If you're going to blitz, you got to get home. That's just the end all be all. And if you're going to run a 4-3 defense, then you have to stock up, load up on defensive linemen of all kinds. Now, they have addressed it at the end of the process by trading for Briggs and Phillips, who have played well. Phillips in this game, graded out average or slightly below. So, and then Briggs has been one of our best. But we still have Jay Tufele on the team. Now he graded out well here, but did you see him make any impact in the game? I didn't see it. But nonetheless, so they addressed defensive tackle. Okay, great. But they did not address edge at all. You might say, well, wait a minute. Braden McGregor graded out well here. Did you watch the game? Did you see him make any impact? I didn't. Will McDonald continues to be sort of like a half player, good on the rush, bad at run defense, and you need more than that. You need 4 or 5 of these mofos. If you remember, Robert Saleh said we roll 8 deep on the D line. That's the minimum. You can't have 4 or 5 or 3 or 2. So we continue to suffer without the pass rush generated from your front 4. Then you have to blitz. When you blitz, you're taking people out of the defensive backfield, and a good quarterback picks you apart. Simple. So now you can sleep well, Sauce. I figured it out for you, bud. I figured it out from my living room, from my home office here. Sauce, I figured it out for you, bud. He said he was losing sleep over trying to figure out what the defense is doing wrong. I just figured it out for you, buddy. Sometimes you wonder these people, if they say things, if they really mean them. All right. So on special teams, Cam Jones, or just want to protect teammates. He doesn't want to say that. Like Sauce Gardner can't say that because it'll make his that's throwing teammates under the bus. You can't say that. But I can. So Cam Jones, who we claimed off of waivers, got the best special teams grade. All right, cool. He got some snaps on defense as well, and as well as Michael Walker, also another guy we picked up late in the process. He's a P-squatter. He got an elevation yesterday, played well. Malachi Moore did well here. And if we look at the defense, Malachi Moore, no bueno. Now, I've said I'm not a big fan of Malachi Moore. Why? He's not fast. He's done a good tackler. He's not strong. How is he going to play in the NFL? So far, that's pretty much as I expected. Other people told you other things. Again, differentiation. But this is just one game, and he's young, so maybe he can improve and do better. I don't know. We'll see. So far, no bueno on Malachi. He was playing the big nickel position for us, which if you're a safety and you're going to play big nickel, you can do that. I mean, you kind of need to have that skill set in your bag. He did not great. He did not do well in this game, but neither did Oliver. Oliver was our main slot player in the absence of MC2. Although we did give some run to Jarvis Brownlee, who got in there for 7 snaps. So maybe in the future we just run it with Brownlee and then leave Moore to be a safety and Oliver to be a backup. That would be nice. So we'll have to see. Obviously, Brownlee's still acclimating and getting used to. Like we haven't seen Jelani Woods, for example, all season. He's someone we claimed on waivers. He hasn't done anything for us. He's been inactive every single game, which is weird. But Brownlee, we just got, very recently, and he's already in the game. So I guess that's good for Brownlee. Not so great for Woods in terms of maybe Brownlee can be a contributor. Maybe. I mean, there's only 7 snaps here, but the fact that he was able to get into the game right away tells you that the coaching staff was comfortable with Brownlee and they're not comfortable with Woods. Whatever Woods is doing in practice, not good enough. And so one of the things I'd like to see, if you look at Arian Smith, for example, he's only had 5 targets all year. This is way too small. Let's get this dude more targets. He's caught 4 passes for 24 yards, but he's only been targeted 5 times. So, he's basically doing what we ask him to do. You can't be disappointed in Arian. He hasn't been a disappointment, but they haven't thrown him the ball enough. So I would say let's get this guy a little bit more involved. And the other thing we could look for is let's try and get Garrett Wilson to the Pro Bowl. Look at this. I mean, again, this is a lost season. We're looking for reasons to keep our heads up here. Garrett Wilson is currently 7th in the league in receiving yards. So that's good. And if you look at it, you got a running back ahead of him. And here's his former teammate, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then another Ohio State guy. But all these other people are in the NFC. So Garrett Wilson's the number 1 receiver in the AFC, baby. Hey, we got something to be proud of. But can we get Garrett Wilson a Pro Bowl? He hasn't been to the Pro Bowl yet. He's done a lot of things. He hasn't done that. So he's 7th in the league in yards. In receptions, he's tied for 6th. Look at the Ohio State boys. And they're all bunched up together. So he's tied with Olave and 1 behind Jackson, 2 behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god. So he could easily kind of catch them. And so he's 6th in the league in receptions, number 1 in the AFC, baby. None of these people are AFC. Then there's Jamar right next to him. And Jamar is probably going to have a down year because of the quarterback situation in Cincy. So this is the year, maybe. Let's try and get Garrett Wilson to the Pro Bowl. Well, but how about touchdowns? We need touchdowns over here. Okay. Well, he's tied for 5th in the league in touchdowns. Amon-Ra, number 1. He's got 6. George Pickens has 5, along with Rome Odunze, Igbuka, Dallas Goedert, and only Michael Pittman. Well, there's a lot of people with 4. But, Quentin Johnston, remember him? He used to have the dropsicle problems. Not anymore. But Garrett Wilson, right up there, tied for 5th. One of the top in the AFC. So no matter how you slice it, Garrett's having an excellent season. He's on pace for about 112 catches and about 1,300 yards and about 14, 15 touchdowns. So if he winds up at that area, we got to get the man to the Pro Bowl. How about that for some optimism to end the video? All right. I'll see you next time on FSPN.